They're popping up all over town, surrounding new buildings, lining parking lots, and acting as driveways. They're all part of a category of products and techniques known as Stormwater Best Management Practices, or BMPs. And while some have techie names like infiltration basin and bioretention cell, they're actually a low-tech but innovative way to address runoff water quality problems.
So you can think of a stormwater BMP as something that treats runoff from stormwater. So by treatment, I just mean removing pollutants.
And the goal is to capture, either retain or simply treat the water and let it run on.
Stormwater BMPs address pollution problems by slowing runoff down and allowing it to soak into the ground where it can be treated. But that treatment isn't done mechanically or chemically. It's done naturally by microbes in the soil. Stormwater BMPs come in many different types, shapes, and sizes. To see some great examples, you can simply take a walk on La Cumbre Road. As part of a sidewalk infill project completed last year, the Public Works Department utilized 3 different types of stormwater best management practices. But you're going to have to look carefully. Some of the BMPs are disguised, and others are barely noticeable.
So one of those is in the parkway, we put a curb cut from the road to the parkway, and it goes to a basin that's roughly 2 feet deep with a specific engineered soil mix that provides the right infiltration rate and treats the water as it runs into the soil and infiltrates into the native soil beneath.
And this normal-looking catch basin is anything but. Underneath lies an effective runoff treating infiltration basin.
We actually installed this catch basin directly in front of an existing catch basin. And the reason for that is water would traditionally run down the street, goes into the existing catch basin that goes to the storm system, and it runs from there to the rest of the storm system. We needed to capture the water before it got there. So we installed a new basin here that's going to catch all the roadway and driveway runoff, and some of the sidewalk runoff goes into the basin here. And this one has an open bottom to it, and some water will infiltrate through there. Then as it ponds up to a height of 1.5 feet, there's an outlet pipe that goes into stormwater storage tanks that are underneath the sidewalk here. And it will, over time, infiltrate that into the surrounding soil.
The third stormwater BMP used in the sidewalk infill project is more obvious. It incorporates a new twist on an old construction material.
So here at this intersection, we're at Villa Lucero and La Cumbre, we installed pervious concrete ramps, and the infiltration rate for pervious concrete is incredibly high. Pretty much everything that hits it is going to go straight through. And we're also capturing some of the runoff from the sidewalk here and here, as well as this off-site, which was unintentional, but it's going to treat all that area as well.
In response to more stringent statewide stormwater runoff regulations, most new development, whether public or private, now needs to incorporate some sort of BMP.
We're required to install these whenever somebody wants to build something over a certain size, and there's design review required. That's the regulatory issue. The other issue is we have an impervious area problem in the city, and the idea behind stormwater treatment is to alleviate some of that impervious area issue. When you have too much impervious area, stormwater flows off too quickly and enters the creeks and ocean untreated, which creates a water pollution problem.
And while larger, more complex stormwater BMPs can be expensive, there are really simple BMPs anyone can do for practically nothing.
We see a lot of residential projects disconnecting their downspouts, where instead of piping the water from the roof to the street, the downspouts from the roof are disconnected into a planter or the landscaping. And that can have a big impact over time on water quality. Just that simple measure.
The Creeks Division is continually researching new stormwater best management practices. The latest, known as a dry well, is about to be tested in a pilot project.
You can think of them as large cylindrical concrete tubes that are installed underground, and they take up very little room. We're thinking about installing them at an intersection at a couple places in the city. And it could really be a good method for Public Works to use to treat stormwater in the future because they're cost effective and can treat such a large area.
So the next time you come across a large public works project, look carefully. You're likely to find stormwater best management practices, and maybe some inspiration too.
If you have a private development, if you're struggling with how to meet the requirements for the water permit, this would be a great place to come and look and see what you want to do at your own house.
So we have a head start, but we still have a long way to go. We've got over 20,000 parcels in the city, and right now our highest level of stormwater treatment, which we call Tier 3, where at a minimum you're having to treat all the stormwater from a 1-inch 24-hour storm for all the impervious area on site. We only have between 200 to 300 of those installed. So when you've got a city with as many parcels as Santa Barbara, we have a long way to go.